But we do want to begin today's show, of course, with the big news going on right now, that being Amazon Prime Days. They got going yesterday and continue through Friday. Still plenty of time to check out a bunch of awesome deals. Jacob Palmer with Best Reviews. Best Reviews has been doing a great job pulling together all of the best sales, best items, things to purchase during these Amazon Prime Days. We've got all of those helpful guides also over on our website. But Jacob was kind enough to stop by and give us his thoughts on just what exactly you should be focusing on during your shopping these next few days. Jacob, always good to see you again. Thank you so much for stopping by as we are right in the midst of Amazon Prime Days yet again. These deals on Amazon go all the way through the end of this week on Friday. So still a little bit of time to go ahead and find those best savings, the perfect things to really save on. And that's why Jacob is here along with the team over at Best Reviews to make sure we know the best things to buy and really those top deals that are going on. But first, before we get into some of your top picks, Jacob, there are a lot of things on sale right now, a lot of discounts, part of Prime Days. Just really the scope of this whole thing. Can you just talk a little bit about just how many things people can really save on this year?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, thanks for having me, Phil. Always a pleasure to join you here on the live desk. But the thing we're noticing about this year's Amazon Prime Days, every year Amazon likes to say this is the biggest one yet. Well, this year they're really bringing it because it is longer than ever. Usually it's 2 days. This year, it's going to be 4 days starting today and then running through the end of the day on Friday, which is interesting for the procrastinators out there. But at the same time, you're going to be able to siphon through or cycle through a lot of different offers because there's so many out there. Amazon says they're going to be running more than 1 million different sales prices throughout the lifespan of the event. My editors are already going through hundreds of thousands of them. So, it really is massive in its scope. And that's going to be a very interesting thing to monitor this year is how are the contours of it different than it was in years past? The two main things that I'm noticing, number one, obviously, that's longer in terms of the actual length of it. But then also it's a little bit closer to July 4th than what we've seen in the past as well. Usually they would give a little bit more of a buffer zone there. And this year, everybody got back to the desk after the long weekend on Monday. And now we're right into Prime Day. So it's going to be interesting to see how people kind of pick it up and get after it here. And one of the main things that we're noticing is that there's been so much talk in the news, the national news over the last year or so about tariffs and pricing. And before that, it was inflation, where deals are really important to people right now. And the retailers and how they adjust to all of that, especially with the tariff news, has been a little bit all over the map. But it seems like right now, if they aren't going to be doing deals during other times of year, they're going to save it for Prime Day because it's a little bit harder to do it when you're not sure about some of the bigger cost considerations that go into pricing your merchandise. But right now, they're really seizing on this as a big opportunity to reach more shoppers and give them pricing that's going to be a little bit more incentivizing than what we would normally see on any given Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. And just even hearing that over 1 million different items on sale that Amazon is putting out there, really just goes to show, like you said, just how big this deal event really is. And kind of also on that same vein, Amazon said that they broke records last Prime Days, just, with everything going on, all the different sales that they were able to generate. Kind of the same expectation now, I'm assuming, with kind of increasing the amount of days, increasing the number of sales as well. They're trying to, again, break those records.
Oh, yeah. Well, a surefire way to make sure that you have the best year-over-year performance of all time is to double the length of the event. That's definitely one keep in mind for any of those aspiring business people out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into some of those can't miss items, though, Jacob. Just the things that even you have seen in your own just kind of doing your own research that you'd think people need to take advantage of this, even if you're just remotely thinking about picking up maybe this item or that item. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, and it's a great question because now really is the time. Basically, you've got a window here, and then you're gonna have to wait till Thanksgiving weekend to be able to see these things. So, what am I personally shopping for? Number one, Apple products. If you need any kind of Apple refresh, now is the time. My wife is personally sick of me stealing and repurposing her AirPods, so I'm going to be getting the AirPods 2. They have the Pro version right now that are pretty well marked down. They're going to be less than $200, which is a great price point to jump at. So that's another one. And then if you need a new tablet, we've seen some great offers from a bunch of different brands. Obviously, Apple again is going to be in the mix here with the iPad, but we've also seen some deals on great Samsung products as well. So we were seeing items along the lines of the tablet that they have, as well as the headphones. They also have a phone, a smartphone, if you're interested there. And then one of the biggest sellers, and one thing that's jumped out at us so far, and to my editors, they've been flagging to me, is that the frame is at a great price point right now. It is kind of a talking piece. I think everybody is familiar with it to some extent if you follow TVs, where it is basically a piece of art that hangs in your living room. And what's perfect for it for so many folks is that if you have a very bright living room, it can very much take that on because of the way that its finish is. So it has somewhat of a matte finish that allows even the brightest rooms to be able to display picture perfect content. So that's another one that's big. So the ones that we're looking at right now are the biggest brand names, and we've got it for the electronics like Apple and Samsung. There's also a lot of fashion items out there. Crocs is going to be one that it's probably time to re-up for my daughter. They're 50% off right now, and then Levi's as well. If you're in the market for any kind of denim, they're also doing deals for up to 50% off right now. And so those are kind of the big ones that my editors are keeping their eyes on.
Absolutely. And, definitely good to note that it's not just those electronics. I feel like when we get around Amazon Prime days, everybody's focusing on the newest gadgets, I guess. But there are a lot of other things, things you would normally use on a day-to-day basis, even, cleaning supplies. Back to school is coming up soon. Before you know it, kind of getting ahead of that back to school shopping. Definitely a great way to kind of utilize this. But on the flip side of those top picks that you've got, Jacob, things that maybe you would recommend maybe not necessarily avoiding, but if you're not dying to get it, maybe you should double think or think twice about picking it up, because maybe the deal isn't as strong as maybe it's been in years past, or you think it's going to be on sale maybe later on for a better price.
So there's a few different ways I would approach this. Number one is if you aren't seeing it recommended, then it might not be at that price. I wouldn't force it, I guess, is my first approach here, where, there's things that we all need around the house. There's things that we need that we've been kind of holding off, especially over the lifespan of a 4-day event. You cannot force it right now and wait for a better price. There's a few items for myself that I'm looking at that are like that, but that's definitely one thing that I would recommend on that. In terms of the types of products that are not really jumping off the page right now, it's hard to say, Phil, because the event just started. And so with this being a 4-day event, even over a 2-day event, as it was in the years past, we still were seeing things come up, pop up, whether it's a lightning deal. And one thing that Amazon tends to do that is a bit tricky is that they will hold off on some of the biggest name items for the later days of the event. Because naturally, there's going to be a huge flourish. Everybody's going to jump on Prime Day today. But what about days 2, 3, and 4? How do you keep the momentum going? How do you keep the attention on it? So many people, especially in America, our attention span's extremely fractured. So they got to get little pops. So my point is that if you're not seeing something where you're like, it's only 10%, 5%, I'm sure there's going to be something better. I heard that they were partnering with this brand. My piece of advice is to hold on for the rest of this event and check back each day. If there's something specific that you absolutely need, add it to your cart. Make sure it's in there and that you can track it. The one piece of advice we have is that if it's over 20%, you're probably not going to find anything better, especially if it's a high ticket item and you're looking at it for a couple $100. So there's those. And then the last point here, where maybe you can expect to see a better deal, is if you're looking for a specific brand or a specific category. So what I mean by the specific category is those niche topics. So we're talking about bicycling, we're talking about fishing, hunting, golf, these things that have very the people that use it are very, very locked in and conversant on what are the big themes in their space. Those are the ones where I'm going to exercise caution and say, don't just jump at the first thing. Track what you want, pick up the exact product that you have, monitor it over the next 4 days. If you don't see what you want, then I would maybe even check out another retailer, because there are so many different places that are trying to compete. And at the end of the day, if that other retailer does come out with the deal that you're looking for, and you know that Amazon also carries that product, give it a little bit, give it at least a few hours, maybe a day or two, because Amazon loves to price match even when their competitors are coming out with big sales themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that was going to be kind of my next question for you is that we have seen, especially recently, these competitors trying to match or try to compete with Amazon, especially during these discounted sales events. Any competitors or products in particular that you've kind of been monitoring at Best Reviews that kind of match up to what Amazon is doing, or maybe you would consider recommending people to at least check it out and then maybe make the decision between, do I want to shop here or do I want to go with Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of different options that you're going to have because Amazon did the hard part. They
Mhm.
created a retail event in the middle of July. So that was the big hill to climb. Now there's kind of a reinforced behavior that they expect from the consumer where it's now the middle of July, what used to once be known as the absolute dead period of the shopping calendar, and now everybody's looking for deals on Amazon, but they don't have every single product and there's a lot of people that like to shop at other places. So the big retailers that we're seeing that are trying to catch onto this wave and ride the current, Best Buy, Target, Walmart. So all the big ones are getting involved here with some kind of different sales that we can expect to see. And it really depends on what you're trying to find. Now, Walmart and Amazon are going to have a lot of the same stock. That's just how they are. And what we'll see there is if Walmart works with a certain brand and is able to get that brand down to a certain cost, you can basically expect Amazon's going to price match that because they have that ability to do it because they are, the biggest player in town. They are the biggest bully on the block, so they can do what they want. So it's more of the specialty ones that you can check out. And there's definitely going to be a lot of those where they'll be calling it, whether they call it their summer block sale or their summer blowout or what have you. There's going to be other options. So check your email, check your favorite retailer, and then also make sure that you check out woodtv.com because we have a roundup there from the Best Reviews editors that do have all of our favorite deals from competitor sales that are going on right now.
Great plug. I was about to mention to everybody, we've got all of the latest Best Reviews guides and tips and everything you need to know for Amazon Prime Days and really all the surrounding deals from other businesses as well going on right now. We've got it all located for you conveniently over on our website, woodtv.com. Jacob, before we let you go, we love having you on, of course, but before we let you go, top 3 tips that maybe you would recommend somebody do just to maximize not only the amount of savings that they can get, but also save them a little bit of time when they are having to go through anything outside of maybe visiting the Best Reviews guides. What would be some of those main topics or tips that you would recommend to somebody?
Well, I'll give 4 because the first obvious one is to let the editors take track here and take the lead because we are monitoring this stuff all year round. It's basically our jobs. I've been covering this myself since 2018, and you can pull up any Amazon page. I'll tell you if it's a good deal or not. So that's the one is get some help. The number 2 is to use your cart and don't be afraid to abandon your cart. So add the items that you like. Think about your wish list, confer with the other people in your family, and get it all into your cart, and then use the save for later feature that's in there if you don't see the deal price that you absolutely love. So that's number 1. Use your cart, abandon your cart, come back to your cart. Because if you do it like that, you'll be able to see in your cart what is the deal at. Is it getting better? You can kind of make mental notes and then leap at it when the time is right because coming back is going to be my number 2 piece of advice here, where it's a long event now. It's going to be coming and going. So you want to make sure that you're seeing the up to the minute deals. There's a lot of lightning deals this year. They're going to be doing even more than in the past. That's a great one as well. So that's number 2 is to make sure that you keep coming back and don't jump too fast. Number 3 is going to be making sure that you are going with things that are tested and true. So what the danger that people can get into is they can sometimes go to the Amazon site and then just type in the search term that they're looking for, and then there's a big pile of options that they have in front of them, and you're not always going to be able to cut right to the best option by doing that. And there's a lot of different ways that it can get really confusing. So make sure that when you're going into it, you do your research beforehand. So find the brands you like, find the models you like, confirm that they're on Amazon, and then go from there. And so having kind of that off Amazon and then taking it to Amazon plan is going to be my number 3 biggest piece of advice for you.
All right, fantastic stuff as always, Jacob. Such a great opportunity to get a chance to talk to you again. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Hey, thanks for having me, Phil.
Of course. And great stuff from Jacob, as always. Again, if you are looking to maximize your shopping experience during Amazon Prime Days this week, definitely head on over to our website, woodtv.com. We've got all of the latest guides from Best Reviews to make your shopping experience all the more manageable, a little bit easier, and help you save a little bit of extra money while you're doing all that shopping.